Hey, Coppercoin. Just started the stream up a little early so that I could have this lovely little info screen. Let people see the lobby and all that. Hello, James Dorman. Welcome back. And I think it's about time to actually make this lobby. There's gestures. The most important gesture is, of course, prance. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying GU, Coppercoin, and hello again, Wolfganson. I am ready for you to join the hunt again. So close to perfectly synced. Just a few frames off. Hello, Christopher. Alright, let's get a quest posted. So we've actually got something to look at besides just prancing, even though prancing is the most important part of the game. What could we do? Well, this quest right here is two monsters that we haven't fought in these forms yet, so yeah. Though my thunder weapon is going to be useless against the Giggy Knox, I don't care. Ah yes, feline swimmer. It's going to be super useful in the tundra. I hope you folks watching are ready to see a monster that is just strictly an upgrade over Kezu. Hello, secret area. I forgot hot drinks. That's twice in a row. 2 streams in a row where I've forgotten hot drinks on the first hunt here. But we've got energy drinks, so hey, we'll be fine. Could have sworn Barioth usually started in here. But I guess I'm mistaken. Maybe it starts in the area where it sleeps. That would make some sense. Well, there's Giggy Knox, so who cares where Barioth starts? Baleful Giggy Knox is not only a Giggy Knox and therefore already better than Kezu, but it's an electric Giggy Knox, and therefore it is a direct replacement for Kezu, and it's a much better one. And hey, look, it's a replacement for Red Kezu also. Oh, here's Barry off. Shame there's no turf wars in this game. Alright, that was a very fast tail break. Come on, get painted. Get painted. Get painted! Good job. You did it in one shot. I didn't do it in like 4. Okay. Giggy Knox is mad, so he's probably going to stick around. Barrioff gets the poop. I say, as Giggy Knox is literally leaving. Thanks, game. Seriously, the way Giggy Knox moves is just so much more interesting than Kezu. It's got the put a paralytic explode sack on its back move, which is actually serves to make Baleful Giggy Knox less dangerous, because if you break the sack before it explodes, you get a free flinch. And in order to break the sack, you just have to attack the chest, which is one of the weakest parts. It's kind of interesting. I feel like Baleful Giggy Knox is actually the easier Giggy Knox, specifically because of that move. And there's also the fact that Noxious Poison is unpleasant. Why does the Giggy Knox keep leaving after I poop the berry off? James, you can hold on to hope by saying we never got Baleful Giggy Knox in any other game yet. Hey, Joey. Feel free to leave whenever you want. I don't have any right to hold you here against your will. I just hope that you enjoy what you see while you're here. Another neat thing about Baleful Giggy Knox is once you've broken a certain part of it, its Electro Spit no longer paralyzes. There's just a lot of neat things about this monster. And as much as I like how it looks when it's red, I do have to say it doesn't really scream electric to me. Yeah, James, I also am hoping for Baleful Giggy Knox for Rise, but even if we don't get it for Rise, it will be a literal crime if we don't get it for Stories 2. If Stories 2 doesn't include Giggy Knox's, I will be incredibly upset. And if they do give us Giggy Knox and Rise, they're going to have to differentiate it from Kezu. Cha-Cha almost got me zapped just there by smacking me at the tail end of a roar stun and thus causing me to be immobile for longer. And here we're left with the unenviable situation. Or actually, no, wait. The paralytic thing on its back breaks when it flips over. For a moment, I was worried that we'd have to deal with it bursting on us while this thing was being carved. That would have been silly. Also, hey, I got a nightmarish maw. Those are not common. So Joey, for why they love Kezu so much, the very first monster popularity poll they did in Japan, Kezu won in a landslide. There weren't that many votes, though. I have a feeling it won as a joke. And they just took it as actual reality. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people voted for it as a joke. Like, not, this is actually my favorite monster, but let's make it win the favorite monster competition because that would be funny. And I feel like they just, yeah, they saw it win that and then just stuck with it. Because I do not see how Kezu can be that many people's favorite monster. Especially when monsters like Tigrex and Nargacuga and all of those were in the running. Oops, sorry. Still need to get used to not doing upswings as part of my combo. Oh, Kalba just took a bullet for me. So, James, aesthetically, I agree with you. Jade Baroth looks great. In terms of fight, it's one of my least favorite in this game. Alright, that's one tail for us. Oh, bye, Barryoff. Hey, Drew. Glad you could at least stop by for a little bit, and I'm glad you're enjoying the video. Or the content. These are streams, which are technically video, but do they count as videos before they are VODs? I've got terminology to learn. Yeah, Wolfganson, my Wii U gamepad is currently giving me the red blink of death because I haven't charged it since last stream. Good news, I play using a Pro Controller, so hopefully it won't affect anything for me. Though if you don't have a Pro Controller, then yeah, that might cause issues. We'll have to see. Hopefully things work just fine. So here's something I'm really hoping for in Stories 2. A, lots and lots of monsters. When Stories 1 came out, it had the largest monster roster of any Monster Hunter game. But then GU beat it, and GU is still the reigning champion. But I want to see Stories 2 beat GU, but I also want to see it keep the lower tier monsters competitive. Because, like, in Stories, you would get an Iodrome, for example. Iodrome shows up kind of late into the game. But by the time you get it, basically everything else you can get is already better. I don't want to see that in Stories 2. I want to see all monsters get something that keeps them relevant as more than just genes to put into other monsters. Apparently that was a big, baleful Giggy. Only silver, though. Yeah, Joey, I'm with you on that. I would also like to see it so that there are no monsters that appear in the game that can't also be monsties, unless they're small monsters. So no large monsters that can't also be monsties. Yeah, let's do Power Couple. It's always a fun quest. So my ultimate dream for Monster Hunter Stories 2 is for it to include every single monster from the main series franchise that has existed up until that point, as well as maybe a couple new ones. That's the ultimate dream. If that happened, I would be... it would be 11 out of 10 best game ever. I'm coming in there to help you with the Wrathion. She is more of a pressing matter than the Rathalos. I should have brought flashes, shouldn't I? That would have been smart. Nice free knockdown there. Good break. Oh, that was a good flinch. Yeah, looks like it was a wing break. Surprising. I have to say, while Azure Rathalos and Pink Wrathion are in World and Iceborne, their colors are just so much more vibrant in this game, and it looks so much better. Like, yeah, the models are great in World and Iceborne, but the colors are a lot more muted. Until you fight the tempered ones, then the colors come back. And I appreciate that. The tempered ones are actually even more bold than this, but if you're not fighting tempered ones, then, like, there's not so much going on. Yo, Blue Link, thanks. I hope you keep enjoying the hunts. Because you certainly deserve it with all you've given me. Not saying the people who don't super chat don't deserve it, but, I mean, Blue Link, you are going above and beyond here. Honestly, I kind of wish that almost every monster in World and Iceborne just always had the bold, vibrant colors that they do when they're tempered. Because it just makes them pop so much more. And Rathalos is back. Gonna poop the lady because she's been here for a lot longer. Of course, she's got to get on the ground before I can do the pooping effectively. There we go. And Smelly Lady is heading out. Where is she going? She is going out the waterfall. Was not quite close enough to get any hits there. Pretty sure the hitbox on the burst is bigger in World. Because I could have sworn that would hit. And hello, blue boy. Get out of here. This Azurelos is pretty big. And this Wrathion is pretty small. Because the Wrathion, her tail is decently easy to hit. Her face is pretty small here. So I feel confident saying that she is a relatively small Wrathion. But then there's the fact that Rathalos is way bigger than her, and Rathaloses are usually smaller than Wrathions. So yeah, these are interesting sizes. Yeah, James, I was also very pleased to see that World's version of Switch Axe is coming back. Because, yeah, Switch Axe is super fun in World. Though, without the Rocksteady or Temporal Mantles to fuel zero-sum discharge, it won't be quite as usable as it is in World and Iceborne. Because, yeah, zero-sum discharge is crazy fun. But without the mantle support, it's one of those you gotta use it at the right time things. Whereas with the mantles, it's one of those, use it literally all the time whenever it is up, start using it now. And I really like it, because it's a fun animation, it feels good, the sound design's great. Zero-sum discharge is a fantastic move, and I want to use it all the time. But without mantles, I can't use it all the time, I have to be picky. should have remembered flashes. Yeah, this is a very big Rathalos. That tail is way too high up for him to be, like, anything shy of a silver crown, I think. Also, his face is huge. Yeah, the new hunting horn mechanics in Rise look crazy. Like, I haven't really used hunting horn a whole lot ever, because it always felt too much like a drunken hammer to me, and I prefer sober hammers. But, like, I am very interested in giving hunting horn a shot in Rise. I fully expect to main Switch Axe again because I love Switch Axe. It is my favorite weapon. It has been since Monster Hunter Tri. But, like, I do like trying other weapons out. Especially when they get new exciting things, like Adept and then Valor Longsword were things. Insect Glaive, I used that for a while when it first came out. I always come back to Switch Axe, but I very much like testing out when other weapons are either new or get significant changes that make them play in interesting ways. And goodbye, Rathalos. So, the waterfall there, it's got the little kind of semicircular bits that are just coming off it with the water going in kind of semicircles. I never paid enough attention to this in this game. I only really noticed it in Generations and GU, but apparently it's always been like that, and I complained about that in GU because it makes the water look wiggly, and that's not how waterfalls work, but I guess that's just how they always did that effect. If you're not looking straight at it, it's fine, but if you are, it looks wrong. And yeah, she was on the smaller end, and yes, he was a silver crown. Called it, knew he was big. Yeah, Wolfganson multi-monster quests, they cut the monster HP by like 40%, if not more. So yeah, there's a reason they seemed fragile. Also, they're both pretty darn weak to thunder, so that's another thing. It's time for some pecos and some fantastic music. was I grabbing? One thing I was grabbing was whetstones. And dung bombs. Might as well grab some sonics and flashes as well. Yeah, Joey, the Duels and Ogre quest is fun, but we've already done a Stygian, and I'm trying to at least semi-efficiently go through the monsters in this game. Also, I love Peko. It is the best bird wyvern, bar none. You cannot convince me otherwise. Yo, thanks, Wolfganson. Thanks for coming on again. Hey, Drake Great, and hey, Crab. Drake Great, it's going just fine. We're having a good time. Crab, you missed Barioth, Baleful Giggy Knox, and Azurelos and Pink Wrathion. You know, I had actually forgotten that Crimson Peko had the flash clap. Well, I was angled wrong, so I missed every single one of my hits. I did always find it kind of silly that Crimson Peko has an actual roar. Like, it makes sense with how much air it can push out of its neck pouch and how it can actually mimic the roars of other monsters to call them in. It was always kind of weird that the roar mimicking didn't actually count as a roar, though. And yet now it's got its own roar that does count as a roar, but the mimicking still doesn't count as a roar. Alright, there's one flint on standard Peko. So, Crab, I'm gonna agree with you, it does suck when Pekos refuse to give you flints. I had the same deal with one of them. Just utter refusal to give me any flints at any point. Oh, a sleep song. Regular Peko just put everyone other than regular Peko to sleep. But Peko calling Devil Joe is iconic, and I love that it happens. Especially when it's a Savage Joe. Alright, standard Peko got put to sleep. And also has both flints broken. And hey, there's one broken flint over here. It's a shame that sleep song doesn't last as long as actual sleep. Well, that was not a good time to try and sharpen. You know, this arena has a very prominent Dragonator over there. But I have no memory of whether or not we're ever actually able to use it in any quest. So, Crab, when dung bombs are in short supply and you're fighting a Peko who has a Devil Joe friend, and I mean, we all know that Kurapeko is the president of the Devil Joe fan club. It's not about dung bombing the Joe or the Peko. It's about getting the Joe to work on beating the Peko for you. I see Kayamba has, Kayamba interrupted that Peko's song by knocking it down. And hey, there's no flints left. That's nice. Hello, Kratos. So, here's the thing about the concept of remaking old Monster Hunter games. I am not in favor of it unless they also update the gameplay to use the most modern engine. Or at least something close to it. Because, like, if they remake Freedom Unite and it's still on the Gen 2 engine, then it'll still be a bad game relative to newer Monster Hunter games. Doesn't matter how pretty it is, it won't be fun. And, like, if they remake 3U, unless they add in all the creature comforts from the 4th gen, still not really going to be a fan. Wouldn't really... Well, no, who am I kidding? I would buy it, because 3U is still fun, but, like, without item sets, without some of the new moves that weapons got in 4th gen, it'll feel a little hollow. And then, like, yeah, if they remake any Monster Hunter games, it's got to be at least on the 4th gen engine. And if it's on the 5th gen engine and has all that going for it, then you bet I'd be all over it. Have them remake all of the 3rd gen and 4th gen maps the same way they're remaking the Flooded Forest for Rise. Oh man, I would be there in a heartbeat. Please give me this theoretical game. I will play it forever. Bye, Crimson Peko. I'm helping. Yeah, honestly, rather than a remake of an old game, I'd rather just see all of that game's monsters and maps come forward in a new game. Like, Freedom Unite was basically a greatest hits of the entire franchise so far. Like, it had almost all of the entire franchise's map and monster content. Just do that, but with all of the stuff that's come out since on whatever the most recent engine is. And that'll be the best game in the franchise, hands down. Sorry, Pecco, you won't finish that song. Oh, whoop. I do not want to get rid of my book of combos. I was not paying attention to my screen. I was just mashing A. Thankfully, it won't auto get rid of things. You have to actually make intentional effort to get rid of them. But yeah, if they ever made another Monster Hunter game that was like Freedom Unite in that it had all of the monsters from previous Monster Hunter games, can you imagine how amazing that game would be? How much content there would be. Okay, let's see here. We're gonna do something that is silly. Because silly is fun. Isn't this like a Savage Joe? Alright, we haven't done either of these monsters yet, and silly is fun. So, James, yes, Generations Ultimate was kind of a best-of game, but the fact that it didn't have Giggy Knox in it means that it cannot possibly have been an actual best-of. Like, yeah, it's got a lot of monsters, and I love it for that. Generations Ultimate's a fantastic game. But its utter lack of subspecies, and only including 2 rare species, and leaving out a lot of monsters, actually. There's room for improvement. And I am going to remember my deodorant and my cool drinks, because I am a smart hunter who does these things. There's 2 Jameses in the chat. I've got to differentiate you. So we've got Cold James, and then we've got just James. And Cold James, I think you may be misremembering. The double Bracky quest wasn't for entry into G rank, but rather for entry into G2. Entry into G rank was Goldbeard Cedas. And I have already soloed that double Bracky quest more times than I would like, and it's kind of soured me on that whole quest in general. Because, yeah, I've soloed that quest twice for my own purposes. Once in Tri-G, once in 3U. And then twice more for one specific friend who wanted to play the high-level stuff in the game, but just couldn't deal with the 2 Brackies. So he just sat at base camp while I soloed them. Except, right as I was about to, or I was working on the second one, and it was getting close to limping. He closed his 3DS, which kills the multiplayer, which he didn't know at the time. And so he no longer got to benefit from my having cleared the quest, and I had to do it again. And yeah, I got you covered, Drake Great. We got this arena theme. There's no sense letting it just go to waste. Crab, the funniest part about this tiny Uragon is that it walks at what speed you would expect for a tiny Uragon. But then when it rolls, it is suddenly Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Urahog? Look out for the tiny sleep cloud. We must sever the tiny tail. I do appreciate that tiny event monsters still exist in later games, but they never get quite this tiny in later games because they have to be big enough to make mounting them a possible thing. And that always made me kind of sad that they couldn't get this hilariously small. Cold James, I too am looking forward to Monster Hunter Rise. I cannot wait to get my hands on the demo next month. And like, this happens pretty frequently. Capcom often has things release in January, and my birthday's in January. It's like they know. I mean, I know for a fact that at least some of them know, but not the ones who are actually in charge of deciding when to release things. Yeah, like, Monster Hunter World came out very close to my birthday. There was a Monster Hunter art book that once came out specifically on my birthday. Good chin break there, Cha-Cha. I will say 4U's Tiny Gravios is one of the best tiny monster quests because it's specifically a very large, ordinarily, monster that was made small. But they didn't make it as small as they could have because it needed to be mountable. I think it came out as like 9 meters long, which is still really big, just not for a Gravios. And I'm very sad that World and Iceborne didn't have very many tiny monster quests. I think there was just the Jagras. Well, no, there were also tiny Paulumus. And a tiny Odogaron. All I know is that every Monster Hunter game needs more quests with monsters that are absurdly tiny and more quests with monsters that are absurdly large. I miss World Eater Devil Joe. Yeah, Joey, Tiny Gammoth was also fantastic. Okay, so this Uragon, still 4 meters long. I don't even remember. Oh, there was this quest with the tiny Pekos. I'm sad that we didn't do that, but it's not G rank, so it doesn't really matter anyway. Just reminding myself what low and high rank events there were, and oh boy, there were not many. It's a shame coming off of Tri, which had plenty, considering Tri capped off at high rank. So here's a fun little story. One of my friends I got him into the Monster Hunter series with 3U. And then he kept coming forward with 4U. But then he didn't want to get Generations for one very specific and, in my opinion, very dumb reason. Because it didn't have G rank. Like, I get it. From the outside looking in, it's like, oh no, if a Monster Hunter game doesn't have G rank, then it's missing its entire end game. But then if you think about it for like 2 seconds, you realize that that just means that, oh, high rank is the end game now. It's not that it's missing end game, it's that end game is earlier. Plus, Generations had some quests that were harder than anything 4U had to throw at us. Nullberries, that's what I was going to grab. All right, later, Christopher. Yeah, Crab, specifically the Hyper Silver Rathalos in the Fire Emblem collab quest. That thing's damage was tuned absurdly high. Did I seriously grab everything but the hot drinks? I'm a genius. And here's our savage boy. The very first game that Savage Joe appeared in right here. And this is one of, I think, 2 quests where you could actually fight it guaranteed. It's actually kind of interesting how they had Savage Joe appear to begin with. Because, like, originally, when the game first came out, before it had the event quests where you could get a guaranteed appearance, there was like a 1 in 50 chance that you would get a Savage Joe instead of a regular Joe on any other G-rank quest where the Joe was not the target. Though some quests, in my experience, did have a higher rate than others. Like the Double Black Blows quest had a surprisingly high rate for Savage Joe. But yeah, it's just, it would rarely appear instead of a standard Joe. And you would walk into an area and be like, huh, that Devil Joe is already angry. What's up with that? And then it gets angry again. And it has that super intimidating dragon aura over its head and like the glowing red eyes. It was super cool when it first showed up. Though I do also find it interesting that in this game, Savage Joe does not have a unique icon. It's just the regular Joe icon. But in Portable Third, before Savage Joe existed, they had a Savage Joe icon in the files. So the question then is, why didn't they use that, or, well, it would have to be an updated version of that icon, for Savage Joe in this game? And I think the answer is because until event quests, they didn't really intend for Savage Joe to be a thing you could choose to fight. But yeah, it's a really interesting thing, Savage Joe in this game. Though I feel like 4U has the best incarnation of Savage Joe so far. Like, don't get me wrong, Iceborne Savage Joe is good and all, but 4U Savage Joe is the one where you most feel the hunger, because it's got more pin moves that it can use, including one where it just picks a hunter up and carries them around in its mouth while it continues to attack everyone else. And that pin move is the epitome of Savage Joe in my eyes. Also, Savage Joe in World and Iceborne doesn't get hungry, like, ever. So it defeats the whole reason that it's Savage in the first place. Like, Savage Joe is literally a Devil Joe that is starving to death. It's so hungry that the dragon energy inside his body is going wild, partially because it has extended its own life by eating other Devil Joes. So it's built up even more dragon energy and, like, all of that. So this is a Joe that is starving to death in an extreme state because of how hungry it is. But then in Iceborne, it's like, it'll only eat when it's outside of combat, because when it's in combat, it's basically perma-raged. Yeah, Joey, both Joes in 4U can do it, but Savage Joe does it so much more often. Also, it had, like, a couple other things that it did. James Dorman. I miss some aspects of Apex Monsters. I don't miss the whole, oh, you bounce off everything except for the super soft parts unless you use a Y-stone bit. That bit's dumb. If they brought back the Apex Monster move sets without the Y-stone mechanic, I would be all for it. Well, hey, Wolfganson, I'm glad I'm getting you to fight things you haven't fought before. It's always one of my favorite things to do in Monster Hunter games is take people to fight things that they haven't fought before and see how they do. Ow. Rip. Let's go ahead and max potion. Why not? Oh, that was close. Should have brought meats. There's a lot of things I forgot to bring. Oh, good. He's out of rage. Alright, thanks for dropping by, Drake. Great. Hope you have a nice night. And, yeah, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, 4U's cutscene direction is among the best in the series. I will say, I think Iceborne surpassed it with the Rajang cutscene. But for the most part, 4U, yeah, still some of the best cutscene work in the franchise. Though I do miss the cinematics that 3U had. 3U's life cinematics, or whatever they were called, were fantastic, and I want to see more of them in every Monster Hunter game. Just pre-rendered looks at just a scene from the life of a monster. They haven't really done many of them since 3U. They did a couple, or at least one for GU with Valstrax. But, like, I want more of those. I would pay very, very good money for just an entire mockumentary. Just get David Attenborough to commentate over scenes of monsters living their lives. I would pay like $100 for a 3-hour video of that. So, since this isn't Monster Hunter World, we actually have a second face break to get. Always interesting to me how World traded the second face break for a chest break. Like, it makes sense. I'm totally cool with the chest break being there. Just weird that they got rid of a face break to add it. They could have had the chest break and still had 2 face breaks. Crab, honestly, I think I prefer having the one face break and the one chest break. Having more different parts to break is always fun to me. But I would rather have 4 breaks to get. Zinogre and Bracky both got incredible ecology videos. Well, Zinogre's isn't really that interesting in its own right. It's like a Zinogre swag walking through an area and Argyros clearing out from in front of it. Like, there's nothing too incredible that's going on, but it is just gorgeous to look at. When it comes to pre-rendered videos, I think Portable Third had the best crop. It had a bunch of great ones. Like, even its intro cinematic was fantastic. So, yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch Portable Third's intro cinematic. Thanks, Joe. Pickle, please. I am super with you, Crab. I also need more Monster Hunter Rise video content and all that. Though I kind of hope, as I always do, that they play things a little closer to the chest. Because, like, for you, they revealed almost every monster in the game before it launched. Whereas Monster Hunter 4, they hid, like, half of the roster. I always prefer when half of the roster is unknown before you actually get into the game. Like, it's cool to have a few big reveals left, but if you have all the reveals left, then it's even cooler. Coppercoin, yes. Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate is the same key quests as on the 3DS. Generations Ultimate just adds the high rank village and G rank multi to the list. James Dorman, they posted the Rathalos and Nargacuga figures because those figures just released. It's not necessarily anything at all to do with Rise. This is, well, I guess it's not time for Tanzia chips anymore, but whatever. Chips never hurt. Though, to be honest, I would be surprised if Narga didn't come back. Considering it's got very ninja-themed armor, and Kamara Village is a very ninja-themed village. I fully expect we're going to see both Mizutsune and Nargacuga in Rise. I'm calling it, I also think we're going to be getting back Yamatsukami. So, my reasoning for why I think we're going to see Yamatsukami, there are a few things that lead me to think that. One, its armor was always very Japanese-themed, so it would fit. Two, the vegetation on its back and the vegetation in the shrine ruins forest, whatever it's called, look remarkably similar. And three, with hunters having more vertical mobility options, I think there's a lot of room for them to bring it back and really spice up the fight, have it be really interesting. That combination of factors, I think we're gonna see Yamatsukami come back. Yeah, until Bottomless Beast showed up, an ominous cry here was the only quest with a guaranteed Savage Joe. And the Peko called it in. Yes. It's time to fight a sand whale. So way back before Monster Hunter Tri came out and before I had ever played a Monster Hunter game, they had a website with videos introducing several monsters from the franchise, or from the, not the franchise, from the game, Monster Hunter Tri. One of them introduced Jen Moran. That video, coupled with the design of the Legiacruz, sold me on the game and made me seek out a demo disc, which then sold me on the gameplay. So yeah, if it wasn't for Jen Moran and Legiacruz, I might not have been interested in Monster Hunter. So thank you, Sandwhale. And hello, RJ Empire. Anti-dragon bombs go on the tusks, all the way at the tips. Also, this music is some of the best in the series. So, yeah. If you disagree, fight me. I need to be a better shot. Whoops. Did not mean to use the binder, but oh well. We'll just have to be better in phase 2. Yeah, Darren is the easier fight. It's got less HP, and its weak spots regenerate so you can break them again. And it's also got a more interesting moveset, in my opinion. But Jen looks so much better. And also, I really like the whole mining on Jen's back thing a lot more than Darren. Like, it's a better execution of the same general idea. Like, Darren, sure, you can get up on its back, or you can get up onto its head if you break its arm, and it does have mining spots. But, like, it's not the same. Because, like, Jen, yeah, we get up onto his back. We can go all the way back to swap over to the other side, or we can just be right here. But you can also break open the holes in its back, which I think is cooler than just breaking a spiky bit. You know what? First aid meds, you can go. Welcome back, Joey, and that's kind of what cats are all about, is being adorable little jerks. Yeah, continuing what I've been saying, I feel like Jen, it feels more like you're on a giant monster. Like, you can see the whole monster, and it's less like you're on a moving platform in the sand compared to Darren. Because Darren, he's got some very specific platform parts of his body. Whereas Jen, like, it's that whole monster. Joey, the word jerk can also be used affectionately. Damn, Cha-Cha on point with the heels. Oh, are you going to the front of the boat, Jen? If so, I'm ready for you. Also, I'm not going to lie, Wolfganson, until you used the gong earlier, I had forgotten that it was a thing. Oh, we are not going to the front of the boat. I have not fought Jen in so long. Wolfganson, I have got just as much to apologize for as you do. Also, I'm sorry, I'm about to explode you. Where's our whale? There it is. It's coming right for us. And a couple presents. Alright, we've opened one hole. And there's hole number 2. A quest where you fight both flavors of Moran at the same time would be interesting. So, I mean, 4U had hacked quests where you could fight a Darren Moran, where in Phase 2 there would also be a Brachy and a Garuga just hanging out. So, yeah, you could fight a Darren at the same time as a Brachy and a Garuga. Actually, let's go for right desk. And Wolfganson, for the record, this is not portable third, which means we can, in fact, both get on the same ballista at the same time. I don't know why well, actually, I know why portable third didn't let that happen. It's because it's more realistic. The real question is, why did this game let it happen again? I know how that goes, Joey. Cats needing cuddles is a very real thing. My cat has interrupted many a recording session because snuggles were mandatory. Dang it. Okay, he's off the front of the boat, which means Dragonator time soon. And if memory serves, if you press the button after he does the second leap, you'll hit. So let's just see here. So there's one leap. There's two leap. Okay, needed to hit it a little earlier. He hit the boat and me, but he did get stabbed. Well, have fun up there. If you're going to attack anything, make it the inside of the holes. All right, there goes one tusk. Dang it. Oh boy, final showdown time. I find it interesting that regular gen is an event quest, whereas hallowed gen is always available once you've reached the HR required. Rar. We get it, Jen. We do. I'm aiming too low. No, I'm aiming too high. Also, say hello to Locklack back there. My first Monster Hunter Online town. One thing I kind of miss about Try is that, I mean, it did have rotating event quests, which kind of sucked. Like, we've seen it in World and Iceborne, it kind of sucks. But they did a much better job of treating Jen's appearance in the event quest roster as a festival, which was the whole lore behind it. Like, Jen brings with it great wealth because of the ores that you can get from its back. And so all of Lochlack is in a festival when Jen is around. And sure, World and Iceborne had festivals, but they weren't related to any specific event quests. Like, Kulve Taroth, yeah, you'd be happy when she showed up in World because she was around and you could get stuff, but, like, they didn't treat it as anything special in-game. Like, it's just, a quest is in the list. Go do it. Whereas in Lochlack, they would actually be having a great time and all the NPCs would be talking about Jen being around. And there would also be a sandstorm going on. So, like, it was interesting. And I miss that. But admittedly, that's the only part of the rotating quest schedule that I actually miss. Yeah, Dragonator time. Take a step back, if you would, Jen. The only problem with using the Dragonator on Jen, in my opinion, is that the music changes. I really, really like the Jen Moran music. Proof of a Hero is great and all, but it doesn't really fit for a monster that looks like this, that moves as slow and plodding. Like, there's monsters where Proof of a Hero absolutely does fit and is fantastic. I don't believe Jen Moran is one of them. Everyone loves the Phantom Uragan. Everyone who experienced it is required by law to love Phantom Uragan. It's gong time, but I was nowhere near it. Probably wasn't even close enough to the boat to really matter. gong. And now we get to carve the tongue. Or rather, the roof of the mouth. Ooh, Dragon Sapphire. Or, as they spell it, Dragon's Fire. Like, I was always under the impression that it was, in fact, supposed to be Dragon Sapphire. But then in Iceborne, Alatreon had an Azure Dragon's Fire. It didn't become a Sapphire, even though they definitely could have made it one. So, was it intentional that it's Dragon's Fire and not Dragon Sapphire? If so, then my entire world is rocked. James Dorman, my special New Year's plans are play video games. And that's about it. Not sure what game I'll be playing to ring in the new year. Could be Animal Crossing, because that's actually got a New Year's event. Or it could be more Monster Hunter. I'd be totally down for a New Year's stream. Would you folks be down to watch one? Admittedly, I wouldn't be looking at the clock, but could definitely have a New Year's stream. It's been a long time, actually, since I've paid attention to the clock on New Year's Day. Try something, I dare ya. Try something, I dare ya. I got this binder. It's ready for you. Like, try something that's actually dangerous. Something that needs binding to stop. How was that part of the hitbox? Well, now we've got options for how to stop things. Personal space, Jen. 6 feet, please. Jen? Try something. Okay, I guess having your arm broken is something. Well, James Dorman, if it's going to be a New Year's stream, it would be like until... It would be at night until the actual change of the year. Otherwise, it loses out the whole New Year's part of New Year's stream. Ooh, can I get there in time? Can I get there in time? Katonk? Nope, no Katonk. Was not in time. Somehow, despite my pickaxe not having touched the button, the gong rung. rawr. Such a noisy whale. So, Joey, you say that you've never finished a Hallowed Gen fight. Well, just imagine this, but purple. That's the fight. I don't recall any extra moves that Hallowed Gen has. The only thing I recall about Hallowed over regular is the extra rocks that you can mine. Also, thanks, Stun. The quartz? Some kind of quartz? I don't think the gong is ready, so let's just do that. I was about to comment on how we hadn't seen the Mega Wind Tunnel yet. Gen's most impressive move, and the only one that was added to it in G-Rank. Are you seriously doing it twice in a row, Jen? Well, apparently no you're not, because flinches. Okay, 3 times. The new Greatsword armor in the Rise trailer, I can't wait to see the monster that it's from, because it's definitely from a monster that we haven't seen yet. Jen, I don't think you're going to hit the boat from back here. Jen, that wasn't an invitation to go even further back. We actually need you to go further forward so that we can Dragonate you again. And so that we can be sure to get all of your carves. Of course, we're not helping that by flinching you more. Keep on walking, Jen. I believe in you. We're doing this again? You know what, Jen? I'm going to go ahead and say, actually, no. Yeah, our ship is in danger. We need to be on top of not letting it do its mean things to the boat. There we go. So if memory serves, if we get right under the back of its throat, we can get all the carves without moving. Oh, am I too far forward or too far back? Too far back. Or maybe I did get all the carves. Ah, yes, that was all of them. Cool. There were just fewer than I remembered. Could make a house in here. I remember originally thinking that Jen's wind tunnel move didn't do damage to the boat, right up until the quest where it actually killed my boat with it. Oh, I need to make more mega potions. And I need to get more potions. Turns out a game that I've neglected for years is running low on supplies. What goes in this slot? Right, my bombs were there. All right, it's time for Lucent Narga. So, bring herbal meds and antidotes, just in case. Because there will be lots and lots of poison going around. In fact, actually, hang on. I'm getting poison res. It's just regular poison, but it's a lot more pleasant when you don't have to worry about it. Do I have a set for it? I do know that this Biomaster set can actually have the Biomaster swapped out for anything. Do I have poison res on any sets? No sets that I already have. Let's see. Is poison res one of those ones that you can get with just the three, or not the three, the 5 slots? I do not recall. What charm have I got equipped? Okay, tenderizer with 3 slots. Got it. Decorations. So, poison res. Do I have poison res? Do I not have poison res decos? If not, why don't I? Was I that bad at this game? I don't have poison res deco. Maybe they're in stuff. I don't know. Let's just make more. Or at least look at them. Okay, that would be why. Poison res is not one of those things that you can get with only 5 deco slots. So we're going in without poison res. Oh well. So that being the case, standard equipment set. Hooray. I forget whether we can use traps on the tower map in this game. I think we can. Or maybe it's just shock traps. I don't really remember. Alright, so Wolfganson, what you need to know about Lucent Narga: poison spikes. On any move that involves its tail, they will go everywhere. If you get hit by them, you get poisoned. Also, when it jumps places, it turns invisible for a bit. But it always jumps the same amount, the same distance, the same way. So you can learn to just move your camera to where it's gonna be. Well, gee, where's the Nargacuga? There it is. Yeah, it's just shock traps on this map in this game. It was Gen 4 where they finally let us use pit traps here. Well, I almost got the trap down. Wow, traps take forever to put down in this game. Ow. Fine, I guess it just doesn't want me putting down a trap just yet. Also, if memory serves, Lucent Narga's face is surprisingly hard for a Nargacuga face. Got a little too close. All right. Yeah, it turns out if you fight enough Nargacugas without using target cam, you just get good at pivoting your camera to exactly where they're going to jump anyway. Which means that Lucent Narga is not going to have any surprises for you with where it's going. Because, like, yeah, you just get used to how far you have to pivot your camera every time it jumps, and there it is. Because you'll note I've been keeping this thing solidly in my camera even through its inviso jumps. There's definitely people who probably have a lot of trouble with it, but I've never been one of them. It's just, I've had manual camera control the whole time I've played this game. So Lucent Narga doesn't really present any additional challenge for me. It's just muscle memory. Yeah, for me, this is just a bigger than usual Narga that happens to have poison spikes everywhere. All right, later, James Dorman. Ow. Couldn't turn on a dime. So that's one thing I am bad at with this Narga. For whatever reason, when I'm trying to avoid the spikes coming at me, I don't know if it's something with my brain or what, but I always end up just deviating directly into their path, which does not help with avoiding. Oh, that's right. If we use sonic bombs while it's in that stance, we can get a knockdown, but no sonic bombs. Oh well. So the reasons I don't use target cam are I started playing Monster Hunter in games that didn't have target cam, and target cam has a habit of wanting to point the camera directly at the center of a monster's model, which is never where I actually want the camera. So, like, yeah. I was already used to moving the camera on my own, and between that and target cam not putting the camera where I want it anyway, I just never used target cam. Because, like, I've always been big on getting tail cuts, and when I'm going for tail cuts, I don't need to see the monster's chest. I need to see the monster's tail. Whoops, forgot it could do doubles. There's also the fact that until Monster Hunter World, I also had a bad habit of kind of mashing L as I was trying to keep the camera behind myself while I pivot. Like in this game, if I'm doing my sword mode slashes, and just doing vertical slashes, and sometimes I pivot while doing those. I told you I'm really good at just walking straight into their path. Yeah, I pivot to try and keep the tail solidly in my slashes. And it used to be like every time I slashed, I would hit L so that I could pivot the camera like that. But that doesn't work when you've got target cam enabled. Because, like, yeah, target cam, if it was on one press, it would make me look at not where I'm actually trying to hit. Or if it was on double press for target cam, I still ended up pressing a little more frequently than would be necessary in order to have target cam not go off. So, yeah. Just a combination of the way I play the game and features of target cam just come together to make it so target cam is not a thing that I personally like using. If you like using it, fine. I liked using it when I was doing underwater combat on the 3DS without a circle pad. But other than that, I don't do target cam because it just doesn't feel right to me. But you're allowed to be you, and you are not me. Ow. So much poison. Again, straight into its path. It is always fun dodging through Nargacuga's tail moves. Like, it's not particularly hard, but it always feels good. So, fun fact, the image editing program that I use to make the thumbnails for these Monster Hunter streams, it's got a feature where it assigns names to images that you import into it based on what its algorithms or whatever tell it the image might be. And of the 3 monsters that I've used for the 3U thumbnails, Wrathion, Abyssal Laggy, and Lucent Narga, it thought Wrathion was a skull. Okay. But Abyssal Laggy and Lucent Narga were both identified as dinosaur. So yeah, the 3U render for Wrathion is a skull, while Abyssal Laggy and Lucent Narga are dinosaurs. The more you know. Alright, that's all the breaks. So now I am wondering whether Wolfganson here was at white sharp or blue sharp bouncing on that face. For a test. Provided I can actually... Okay, yep, white sharp bounces on that face. Good to know. So yeah, the back legs are actually the best place for us to hit at this point, because they are fairly soft and can get us knockdowns. I can't imagine this Narga has that much fight left in it, considering we've broken everything. Ow. I will say it is cool just watching its eye trail bounce along in the air when it's enraged. This is definitely the Nargacuga that most delivers on that specific fantasy. Actually, one of my friends, when I was playing 3U with him, he was big into Metal Gear Solid. So was I, but he was big into Metal Gear Solid, and when he saw Nargacuga's eye trails for the first time, he started calling it Gray Fox. And then he learned that when you break its face, you break one of the eyes, and then it only has one eye trail, and that just cemented it as Gray Fox in his eyes. And then when he finally learned that, oh, there's also Lucent Nargacuga who goes invisible when it jumps, leaving a single eye trail in the air while also being invisible, well, that's just even more Gray Fox. Like, it was... He started calling it Gray Fox to begin with, and then was just only convinced more and more of it with each thing that he learned about this monster. So, when it comes to Lucent versus Silverwind, I enjoy fighting Lucent more. Silverwind's a neat concept, but I don't like the sonic booms. I don't think they belong in Monster Hunter. Though I do appreciate Silverwind's unique striped aesthetic. And I appreciate that it does bleeds. I'm kind of glad they added bleed to regular Narga in Iceborne, because it makes sense. Though the implementation in Iceborne doesn't always make sense, what with it still bleeding you if you step on feathers that are already on the ground. But it's the thought that counts. I had all the time in the world to get out of the path of that spike. Seriously, more than any other fight in this game, this fight makes me feel like an idiot. Oh, hey, good job. And hopefully you get a, whatever it's called, a cloudy moon shard, that thing that I just got. And hopefully you get better than a lash from the tail. I don't like when I fight rare species and get standard species items. Lucent Narga Dapples, I have to say, is one of the cutest part names in the entire game. Carve some dapples. Well, rip on the Cloudy Moon Shard, but hey, at least you got a Lucent Narga under your belt now. I'm not going to need these traps where we're going next. No, not life crystals. Powder. And cool drinks. Because I think it's about time for us to set foot where gods fear to tread. Though that means I'm going to go get my Grongigus hammer. So, I'm proud of this mixed set. For one, it doesn't look like utter trash. It's not amazing, but it's not utter trash. And for two, look at these skills. Look at these skills. I mean, sure, it requires what is arguably the best charm in the game to get, but it's a good set for a good hammer. So, while we could do the Second Coming, I think we'll do a not super version of Alatreon. Where is it? No, not Black Flame of Calamity. Where is it? I don't remember what the Alatreon quest is called. Okay, I guess we are doing the event one because I don't have the non-event one. Well, don't worry, Wolfganson. I'm getting Feline Weakener, so if any monsters join this quest, they will have reduced stats. So, far and away, the monster with the best glow-up for Iceborne in terms of both music and fight, Garuga. Crab, I wish I could tell you why this hammer wasn't in World. It is amazing. It's just an Uragan chin on a stick. Gotta say, I do miss Iceborne Alatreon's theme. Iceborne Alatreon's music was so good. And so was basically everything about Iceborne Alatreon. Sound design, battle design, loved it. Great fight. Yo, Alatreon, you want to get out of the lava, maybe? No, you want to get further into the lava? I mean, you're allowed, but... Is this thing seriously mad already? I don't have the Ballista Binder. Where does one get the Ballista Binder? I do not recall. Yeah, this thing is in fact already enraged. I mean, I knew that just by looking at the ice coming from its mouth, but... Fun fact, you can dodge, I mean, if you're good enough, you can dodge all of Alatreon's moves with a hammer unsheathed. You never have to sheath your hammer to dodge anything that causes damage if you play well enough. Alright, Jojo, you forgot, or Wolfganson, you forgot cool drinks. I can spot you some. Provided we get a moment. Quick, quick, come here, quick. Before ice hits my head, please. There we go. Small price to pay for your cool drinks, and looks like it's going for you, so I can just sit here. Hooray. Oh, it's not that I didn't have the binder, it's that it starts off on cooldown. Okay. Well, no sense using it when he's on the floor. Yo, Altran, you want to get your face out of the lava? This hammer is not quite long enough for my purposes. And that's a mad boy. Definitely still have some things to remember about this fight. Because it is a very different beast from Iceborne Altran. So another thing about being able to dodge all of his moves with a hammer, you also don't often have to even press the dodge button. Most of it can be dodged by just walking. And this binder is ready. I just need him near it. Got him in my sights. Right, that only goes close. It'll never hit me this far away. So the secret to this quest, binder early and often, but only when he's flying, and he's not in air mode anymore, so, oh well. Ow. If memory serves, Drew, the village Alatreon is literally just a G-rank Alatreon. Full stop. I didn't bring nullberries. Oh well. No blast for me. Though the village Alatreon does have less health than the multiplayer one, because it's village versus multi, so it's scaled for one player. And of course it's mad. But it's in the air, so binder. Does the binder even reach this far? It does. I mean, I don't get to take advantage of it, but I haven't done a whole lot in this fight so far anyway. Dang it. Ooh, going to a fourth slab. How unusual. And unpleasant. If it had only done the 3 slaps, that could have actually been where its face was going to end up. And put my hammer on said face. Like that. Alright, we got the claws. Shame the claw break doesn't really do anything in this game. Oh, that's right, they break separately, so that's just one claw. Also, speaking of which, they got rid of the claw break in Iceborne, and that weirded me out. I don't know why they got rid of the claw break. I'm pretty sure Drew, the same reason, he felt the need to torture himself doing that for the same reason that some people feel the need to do naked runs. It's just a thing that you can try and do. And since the village Alatreon is unlockable before even touching G rank, I think it's a pretty neat goal to try and go for. Alright, we got flight, but we also got rage, because of course we do. Ooh, but we got binder. If I was just a little more patient, I could have taken advantage of that. Alatreon does put his horns right where you can hammer them pretty frequently. But you gotta be patient enough. Still mad. I'm ready for as soon as he stops huffing ice to toss a flash right in front of his face. Done with 3? You are. But I was too far forward. I don't see ice. Alright. I'm starting to get back into the swing of things. Ow. Mad boy. Ground mode boy. believe that was a KO stolen by a tail cut. But that's fine. These things happen. It's not like I can say, hey, the KO is going to happen in 5 seconds. I don't have mods that show me where the KO tolerances are like some cheaters on World for PC were. Stamina didn't quite hold out. And up he goes. You know, we could try and get his remaining horn stuck in one of these walls next time he's in ground mode. But honestly, I don't think it's super worth it. Like, ooh, he's not huffing ice anymore. In Try, I feel like it was easier to get them stuck, but this game, not so much. All right, buddy, I'm going to need you to actually get flashed. Like, I feel like he needs more coaxing to get to where he needs to be to even get his horns stuck. Well, Joey, I'm glad you didn't have to walk outside in the snow. Being a guy from Southern California, what is a snow? I'm kidding, of course. I've been snow skiing many times. My family used to go out to do that annually. Considering my father's parents live in Denver, Colorado. And also, while I was living in Japan, there was one day where it snowed and the snow actually stuck. And the snow stuck around for a while, despite it being like 40 plus degrees Fahrenheit after that point, but yeah, I know what snow is. It's just the standard Southern California joke. Because, to be honest, us people from Southern California, at least San Diego, we don't really know what the whole precipitation thing in general is. It's a literal desert here. Oh, I wasn't even paying attention to the binder being ready. But good on you for using it. Ah, yes, the days when a hammer user could assert dominance with super pounds. Can't do that in Iceborne. Super pounds hardly do anything to your allies in Iceborne. It's a real shame. Yeah, just healing on the edge of a fire tornado. Nothing big. Okay, fine. Another dust to life. Crab, I am positive there will be some sort of analog to flash bombs. They're not going to remove that entire mechanic from the game. As much as they practically tried to with Iceborne. I fully expect that flash bombs will have something that replicates their effect, if not flash bombs themselves in Rise. Considering Rise has endemic life that replicates certain mantle effects, and the freaking health booster, there's endemic life that replicates that. There's no way flashes are gonna not be a thing. Plus, we've seen flash flies, or whatever they are. The little clouds of flashiness. We've seen those in at least one trailer, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, definitely still gonna be flash effects. There were 2 tails in this tale. Apparently, Alatreon does not like Cha-Cha right now. Oh good, the binder's back. Hop in the air, you dingus. You absolute buffoon. Yeah, that's what I thought, but also you're not raging, so have that. Okay, head's not exactly where I would have wanted it, but still hittable. Okay, that looks to me like binder time. This looks to me especially like binder time. Oh, come on. I missed with the golf swing? That's the most important swing. Wrong item. Went one too far. Thanks for deciding to turn for literally no reason there, Alatreon. Always kind of amused me how Alatreon in generations prior to 5, when he does his forward dash attack, he will either have 0 turn or all turn. There is no in between, there is no tracking. It's just either he's not going to turn or he's going to turn as much as he can. Well, have fun over there, buddy. My biggest issue with the Flash nerf in Iceborne Crab is not that they made the flashes not work all the time, but rather that they made it so that a monster knocked down with a flash would stand back up immediately. Basically just made the flash pointless even if it didn't stop working. Like, if they had just done one of the nerfs, then flashes would still have been a valid item to use. But the fact that they did both just made it almost completely worthless as an item. Done with 3. Didn't hit the face with that one. Man, why'd you have to go for a 4th? Hold off on the binder until he's not above lava. Alright, now would be great. Well, at least that time I hit with the golf swing, but it was only the golf swing. Oh, I didn't bring honey. That's fun. Rawr. And up we go, but I know that we have just freshly entered Rage. And the binder is still down, because of course it is. One slap. 2 slap. 3 slap. Dang it. If only my stamina held out. Well, at least you should be able to get some cold drinks in the base camp. If you could give me a couple of those, that would be great, because I am out, and I expect my cold drink will be running out shortly. And I'd rather not have to go to base camp to get more, considering I only have one way into base camp, and it's not one that I would like to take. Nailed it. This ice blade is not helping me. Oh good, it's gone. Oh, there are no supplies. Interesting. I guess I was thinking of 4th gen, where there are supplies for Alatreon. But is he mad? He's not mad, so before binder, we need flash. Provided I can actually get a flash in front of him to where he believes that it's flash time. Well, binder lasts longer anyway, it's fine. Hey, we got both horns. And unless I'm mistaken, that means he should be pretty close to dead. Thank you for the life powder. Yeah, thus far we have yet to see a game with Teostra but not Kushala. We have seen games with Teostra and Kushala but not Chameleos. Chameleos is the big question mark, but I think Chameleos has a better chance in Rise than at just about any other point. Would love to get a second KO on this guy, but I think his tolerance is probably like crazy high. Also, he doesn't give me his face as often as I'm comfortable with taking advantage of. I know there's definitely professional hammerers out there who are much better than me at pounding his face in. Like, I can snipe a few of them. But there's people who can snipe all of them. I am not those people. And I don't see any ice, which means... there's the KO. Missed the golf swing again. And now I gotta go without cool drinks. Oh, good. Hop in the air, dingus. Back in the days when getting a blast with a blast weapon actually flinched a monster. I definitely get why they nerfed blast going into Gen 5. Well, that's another thing that they nerfed a little too hard. Because, like, its damage was nothing to really write home about in Gen 5. But then there's also the fact that it can't flinch monsters anymore. Missed with the binder. Oh well. Yeah, the fact that it doesn't flinch monsters in World just really makes it feel like, did a blast even happen? It's one of those things where there's just not enough feedback to show that something interesting actually occurred. Because, like, poison, you get to see the purple drool. Paralysis, well, para happens. Sleep, the monster falls asleep. But blast? There's a flash and a number. And that's literally all that happens. Just the flash and the number. Oh, super pound to the face. And I like how he has to fall down, then stand up, and then die. So Crab, technically blast damage has always varied by monster. It's not a unique to Iceborne thing. Like, even in this game, blast does more damage to some monsters than others. If memory serves, Plesioth takes almost nothing from blast. But Uragon takes quite a bit. So many palliums and mantles. Truly, I am blessed. Skyswayer, though, that's nice. Well, Wolfganson, I'm glad that we got you through it. It's always fun when you get to take someone up against a monster that they don't expect to beat, and then you beat it. You get that rush. Well, Wolfganson, I hope you're having a good time beating all these monsters you haven't beaten before. Unfortunately, you're saying Azure Dragon Gems. What you want is Azure Dragon's Fires. It's one of those unfortunate things where they've got the same icon and very similar names. But one is definitely better than the other. Yep. We're doing this. Because this is 4 monsters that I don't believe we've done these species of yet. And this will have to be my last quest for the night. Because food is a real thing that sometimes I like to eat. But at least it's a meaty quest. So, Crab, it is in fact both. Every monster has its own specific values for how much blast it takes to actually get the blast to go off, how much that number grows for each blast that has happened, how quickly the blast that you've already built up wears off if you don't attack it for a while, how high the maximum blast value required can get, and how much damage a blast does. So there's 5 different numbers, and every monster has its own set. There is some overlap from monster to monster. Like, there's some templates, basically. Like, there's the slightly weak to blast monsters, the mid-weak, the very weak. And then there's special exceptions outside those 3 general cases for things that are like almost immune to it, or things that are super incredibly weak to blast, etc. If memory serves, Devil Joe takes more damage per blast than any other monster. Ooh, it's the water arena. And in case you've forgotten how quests with 3 or more monsters go in this game, Wolfganson, don't be stingy with your mega potions. You're going to carve at least 3 from every monster we beat in here. This poor lizard. But yeah, every sparkly and every carve is going to be a mega potion, so yeah, use them first. I actually kind of miss the quests that do that in later games. They stopped doing that because, I guess because a lot of people were like, wait, where's my carves? Why am I carving the monster if it's just mega potions? Because they weren't aware that you still get real carves afterward. But then there's also, like, later games they gave you the quest pouch, expanding your item list by 1 full page while you're on a quest. So you could actually have space for carves from multiple monsters. But in this game, since we didn't have the quest pouch, we actually get to carve mega potions from monsters in quests where there are 3 or more different monsters. And it's a fun little thing. I actually really love these quests, because A, you don't have to worry about squeezing monster parts into your inventory. B, you get more mega potions to help you last through the quest. And C, you get to fight a bunch of different monsters in one quest. What is not to love? Oh, no tail carve for us. Oh well. I'm already capped on mega potions. Welcome back, James Dorman. You missed a pretty neat Alatreon kill. Go away, Ludroth. We don't need you anymore. I want to continue with the quest. Oh. Were you just here the whole time, Gobble? Why am I going for the tail? The lantern comes first. There it goes. No flashes for us. So that right there is the worst part about fighting Gobble in this arena. The incredible distance between the bottom and the top, like between the floor and the surface of the water, is incredibly far, which makes a lot of Gobble's animations just take forever. When it's sinking down to the bottom, or when it's doing the move where it launches itself all the way up and out of the water. Yeah. I would love to see Gobble return, but it loses a lot if you take it out of the water. Because, like, I don't know a single person who wanted to fight Gobble in water if they had the option to fight it on land. Because it loses a lot of its kit on land. It becomes a much easier fight, and it even loses access to its signature move. So, like, I personally don't want to see Gobble in a game without swimming. And there's our Mega Potion. I was about to say our tail, but no, it is a Mega Potion. That right there, that's what Mega Potions look like. And this right here is what a stack of 3 Mega Potions looks like. So whenever you've got 3 Mega Potions in your inventory, just remember, this is what you have hiding in your pouch. Nice try, buddy, but your lantern's been broken for a while. And all the way up it goes. And back up it goes. And back down it goes. What are you, an elevator? Your flash is still broken. Ooh, nice. Always great when you manage to flinch it while it's buried. Well, time to carve these Mega Potions for no other reason than to say we did. Honestly, I gotta say, the biggest disrespect they ever did to Gobble was pretend that the Puke Hammer was a Puke Hammer and not a Gobble Hammer. Like, they're bringing Puke back. If they brought Gobble back, they'd have to differentiate their hammers somehow. Interesting. Gobble's eyelids only load in when you're close enough. Eyes closed. Eyes open. Oh, bye, Gobble. All right, so that right there is what 4 Mega Potions in a stack looks like. So if you've ever got a stack of 4 Mega Potions in your inventory, well, look out for fish, because that's what you got. And there goes the head fin. Plesioth's underwater animation is just so good. Stop bringing this fish back in games without swimming, Capcom, please. It's such a better fight underwater. Alright, there goes its right wing. And I believe that was its back. Yep. So left wing is all we have left to break. For reals though, this fish's underwater animations are so good. But its land animations are so doofy. I never want to see this fish on land ever again. Even in games that have swimming, I don't want to see this fish on land. I want this fish to be in the water all the time. Unless I have to fight it from the land, then I just want to never see it. Wow, we got the break and the kill with the same attack. James Dorman, I also didn't mind Juratotus. It's a perfectly fine Piscine Wyvern. It's just very forgettable to me. It didn't have a whole lot to set it apart from anything, and it appears too early in the game to really be a thing that you spend much time thinking about. Like, it's a perfectly serviceable Piscine Wyvern. It's not as bad as Plesioth with no swimming. It's not as bad as Lavazioth in World. It's a perfectly serviceable Piscine Wyvern. Roughzalo, yes, it is just Mud Lavazioth. But in World, at least, Mud Lavazioth is better than Lava Lavazioth. The hot and cold mechanic in World and the fact that parts that were broken could no longer benefit from being hot was a bad call in my opinion. Especially when freaking Lavasioth prior to World was my favorite Piscine Wyvern to fight on land. It was a really fun fight in Gen 4. But then Gen 5 rolls along and Lavasioth is bad again. And in fact, worse than it has ever been, in my opinion. And clearly it's not just my opinion, considering Lavasioth was the least hunted monster in Iceborne's first year or whatever. To the point that they gave it the quest, the name's Lavasioth. So yeah, it's not just me who thought Lavasioth was not a good fight in Iceborne. And also, Iceborne got rid of the cutest part about Lavasioth. I miss when that fish would create and hang out in hot tubs. It was adorable. It was a super cute fish. All right, time to get 4 more Mega Potions. Where is that? Where did we sever the Mega Potion? There it is. Or wait, the name's Lavasioth was in Base World, not Iceborne, because Lavasioth was in Base World, not Iceborne. Joey, they haven't brought back Hypnocatress because Hypnocatress is a bad monster. It's pretty much just what if Kutku, but sleep instead of fire. Apparently we had a big Ludroth. Alright, well, that was the last hunt of the night. Thanks once again to Wolfganson here for joining me in hunting, and thanks to all of you for watching. Next stream, yeah, let's do Thursday, New Year's Eve. May do an earlier stream, but we'll definitely do a later stream. So, see you folks then for that. And once again, thanks to everyone who dropped by, chatted, watched, played, whatever. My thanks go out to all of you, and I'll see you in the next stream, friends.